Dead Hanger Pale Ale is what I thought we would be drinking today,
Yeah.
but we're not.
We drank it all.
So it got canned, and it was supposed to be flown down fancy yesterday.
Flown?
Yeah, John, Grand Canyon's founder's pilot, and he came down for our distributor annual business plan meeting yesterday with our liquor distributor.
Okay.
And it was supposed to come down. But labels, logistics are still not back to pre-pandemic levels, so
Okay.
labels didn't arrive until this morning. Or they're sitting at the brewery right now.
So you guys had some labels, because I've seen labels, right?
So we had done we had the sticker labels, and those are great.
Yeah.
But now that we're going into like more than just a one-off kind of, and we can get into that. This was a one-off kind of thing that we did, and now it's grown beyond that. So we, as a brewery at Grand Canyon, we have a sleever. So we, except for our three biggest sellers, Pilsner, Amber, and Prickly Pear Wheat, those are printed. Everything else is a blank can that goes through our sleever. So
gotcha.
we wanted, we can do labeled cans. We just don't like the aesthetic. We like it looked top to bottom. We have the ability to do it.
Yeah.
So those are the new labels coming in as opposed to the old sticker ones.
Okay.
And then the biggest difference being that those have a readable UPC, so they can go into Safeway.
Okay. I did not know that. So Safeway requires a UPC code, or a lot of places.
Almost any grocery does, really.
Oh, gotcha.
You can get away with it in like an independent mom and pop a lot of times because they're running their own inventory. But if you're working with any major chain that runs a UPC system through GS1 US or anything like that, it's like a global inventory system. You're required to be a part of it. And so basically I try to tell breweries that starting at Total Wine or Whole Foods, depending upon how your brain scales those, but Total Wine takes in any local brewery, and then you just have to hit a $50 a month hurdle mark. It's not a lot.
Okay.
But
Hurdle mark sounds like a greasing palms.
you definitely need UPCs for Total Wine. They can make it work without them, but I always like the moment you want to start selling in chains, you gotta start getting into UPCs because so many doors close if you don't when you go to launch to market. So that was something when we did the one-off beer with them the first time, we didn't consider a UPC.
Yeah.
So now we have, and we're ready to go.
Because you guys did a beer before with them, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've been working with Grand Canyon for a while. They've been just phenomenal partners, the events, beers. We even did shirts together, did a bartender competition. And like Alex always says correctly, like we've built some great relationships with these guys on a personal and a professional level. So, whatever we can do together, we do it.
Yeah.
And this beer is, the work of many years of these guys putting in the work with, making a great brewery and us doing what we needed to do to build our business. And, and we're all still here.
Yeah.
So, we're trying to do some really different stuff in 2023, like all of us, right?
Yeah.
You.
Yep.
Like we were just talking about you totally recreating yourself, right? And and I know Adam is the guy next to me, just came out from Vegas working with me full time. So, we're all trying to do some much bigger things with our lives, and this beer I think is the perfect kind of I don't know if synopsis is the right word but just all of our years together of building friendships and businesses and this is our way to just send something completely different out into the market.
Yeah, I dig it, man. Well, I've always dug what you guys do, across the board here. But it's been fun, especially to see your journey, right? Because when I first started, talking with Justin, it was about let's capture what it's like to open up a brewery, right? You were going to do Ironside, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Ironside, yeah. And then you were like, how about this?
Right.
And then boom, fucking earn your booze across the world, And dude, I get more compliments. Sometimes I go out with my shirts on, like a Tap That AZ shirt, and I'm like, don't you guys think this is as cool as Earn Your Booze? Why does nobody say anything? People love the Earn Your Booze shit, man. They really do. But now I know, but now you're expanding beyond, and now it's earn it all, right?
Yeah.
So kind of bring me up to speed as to where is things.
So first and foremost, Earn Your Booze hasn't gone anywhere. It is just now a part of earnitall.com.
Okay.
So we've been working on a lot of partnerships even outside of the booze world that, the word booze is kind of like a little dig at alcohol, right? It's
sure.
On purpose, right?
Yeah.
And so we went to earnitall.com so we can have bigger, B2B connections and do more things that are aligned with earning it, right? But at the core, like, Earn Your Booze is not going anywhere. We're actually stronger than ever.
Yeah.
Because, especially with this beer coming out now, some people are like, wait, you guys are putting a beer out? Like, you've been hearing all this Earn It All talk, and it's like, well, yeah. We can put a full flavor awesome beer out because we can show you how to earn it.
Sure.
Like, we don't have any worries at all about putting out a 6.7% alcohol, hazy pale ale, because, if you're handling, your life, like putting your fitness first and your health first, handling business and responsibilities, drinking in moderation, being a good person, you can consider it earned.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
so again, like, we're not going anywhere, and I think it's needed even more than ever now because there's this whole like range of like leaders and so-called coaches out there that are talking shit to people that like to have some beers or some drinks on the weekend.
Yeah.
But a lot of people out there, they want to handle their own business their own way.
Yeah.
They want to work whether Monday through Friday or whatever it is. And they don't need to be called a piece of shit for cracking some beers on the weekend.
Right.
So like, we are all about both sides. Like, we want you to put a big focus on that.
Yeah.
Really, truly earn everything in life, and then be happy of the things that you have earned and enjoy them.
Yeah, the absolutist thing doesn't really work for us.
Yeah.
The absolute, you have to identify with being sober, you have to identify with being this or with that.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work for us,
Sure.
So
and most people, right? That's a reasonable approach to things, right? It's more sustainable.
Yep.
It's fucking more enjoyable for
Yeah.
sure, right?
Right?
Oh, absolutely.
Now, tell us about you, Eric. You said you've been dropping weight and you've been kind of changing up like how the energy levels you have, and
Yep.
like tell us, how have you been doing it?
Well, I mean, dude, I've fluctuated from, I was like 260 in high school, went through 2 days in college, was down to 245. And then that was my freshman year. End of sophomore year, I was 315, right?
Yeah.
Our coaches were like, I set a weight goal, and I was like 290. And I'm like, I want to be 300. And he's like, well, you're supposed to lose weight. I'm like, yeah, but I always wanted to play at 300.
Yeah,
right.
God,
but
that sounds familiar.
Right, yeah. But then it was a downward cycle from there, right? As soon as I
lot
stopped
of meat to
playing.
maintain.
Yeah, it is, yeah. A lot of fat. A lot of chili cheese fries and shit throughout the years. But I've always been I've always loved food, and I've always loved what my wife calls gross food, right?
Sure.
Shit, just French fries covered in cheese
So
with
good.
But as I'm going through this journey of, really kind of figuring out what it is that I want to do, and it's getting more and more clear, I was starting to see like, okay, I'm at my peak. I'm exhausted, right? I'm putting everything I have into this, and I don't have enough energy. So I was questioning like, okay, is this just my peak? Is this my peak? And then I was like, fuck no, that's not my peak. This is the peak as to where I'm at right now. This is the most I can do, weighing 200. Now, this is, let's say a year ago, weighing 295 pounds, not running, not doing any exercise, pounding beers, drinking whiskey, all this stuff that I love, but doing it in excess, So just kind of, I feel like if you kind of, you can look at a problem of like, okay, well, I want to get more listeners on my podcast. You can really kind of boil that down to personal habits, right? Like, okay, well, I'm not doing this because of this. Well, I'm not doing this because of this. When you kind of boil it down, well, I'm not doing any of that because I'm fucking exhausted at 5 o'clock, from being 315 pounds or whatever.
Habits are big too, and that's one of the things that people don't look at enough when they go through a journey like that. Like, especially in fitness, it has nothing to do almost with what you're doing. It has everything to do with how you do it.
Sure.
Like, and the habit that is behind it. You know? And that's like the big secret, the big fitness secret that nobody wants to tell you. It has nothing to do with what type of exercise you're doing. It's the habit of doing the exercise in the first place.
Sure.
So
when I got to a point where I never thought that I would say like I enjoy running, right? I'll go, never thought I would say I love going on the treadmill, but it,
Still terrible.
Still
5 minutes
I
into
love
it.
a bicycle, but everyone's got their preferred cardio. I'm just not a runner, man.
Yeah, I never. I've been advised by doctors. Like I got advised by this chiropractor who was 5'4", probably 480 pounds. He's like, you don't have the body to run. He's like, you should not be running because I hurt my back. Like, but all kind of shit was jacked up. But he was like, you're too big. You shouldn't be running. I'm like, that's horrible advice, dude. That is horrible advice.
That's my favorite thing is the big, giant, unhealthy doctor. The doctor that has the type 2 diabetic black marks on their neck that's trying to tell me how to live my life. Yeah. And it's like, excuse me?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's an awesome segue into what we're doing. Because, like, if you remember when we first started talking, we talked about open a brewery.
Yep.
And then we got to earn your booze. But the question has always been, well, how do I earn it, right?
Sure.
And so I've always wanted to do that. And you and I have talked a little one-on-one back in the day. And, like, it was, a little bit of pieces of habits and skills or, just tips and tricks here and there. But Adam is now on board. And we have our partner, Bobby Maximus, is one of the
Is that
fittest.
His real name?
Yeah.
He's
He's
What
one
a
of the
name,
100.
right? What a name. You have a name like that, you got to do something.
Either
Yeah.
fitness or porn star. One of them, right?
Hey,
little bit
he
of
kind of
both,
looks like
hey.
that one guy. So.
There's one guy out there, he gets mistaken for Johnny
Yeah.
Sins.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
If he grew like a little
Sort
bit
of thought it
on his face,
Yeah.
it would
Not
be-
that I know who that is.
Not that any of us know who that is.
Wait, who? The guy
yeah,
from the
I love
Sex
that
Pistols?
guy.
Yeah, that guy's awesome. Right?
Yeah. So when this question came up, well, how do I earn my booze? I was like, all right, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it the right way because of what you just said. There's all the advice is out there. All the information's out there on Google and YouTube and
Yeah.
so-called experts and everything. But, like, if you don't live in that space, it's impossible to know what's bullshit. It's
Sure.
impossible to know what's paid promotion. It's impossible to know what is actually healthy, what is actually going to work for you, right?
Yep.
So we've assembled Adam and Bobby and a handful of other people to really just make sure that we are putting out truly awesome, accurate information
Yeah.
that is going to get people results. Because, like, we're not attached to, like, a supplement company
Yep.
or anything that we're not teaching people how to earn their booze just to, like, sell them this
Thing
mix
or
or whatever.
like,
you know
like
what I
drink
mean?
mix or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, we're taking decades of, like, real expert, experience and put it into what we are teaching now because of all the bullshit that's out there.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so, like, anyone can come in if you're curious about anything, carnivore diet or alcohol or caffeine, or is veganism a good option, or literally seed oils, like anything you hear out there, you can come in and we'll teach you everything. So that's what we want to do. We want people to finally get all of their questions answered about what it takes for them to hit their goals. And it doesn't mean
Yeah.
you have to have a six-pack. You don't have to try to look like me or lift as much as Adam or any of that kind of shit. Like, whatever your goal is, we'll help you get there in a way that is going to stick with you long term, right? Because
Yeah.
the last thing we want is just to quickly get in shape and then lose it.
Sure.
Like, we don't
Yeah.
fucking want that.
Yep.
Right.
Funny thing is, we'll be the first people to tell you, like, for the vast majority of the population, having a six-pack probably wouldn't be healthy for them because single-digit body fat is not healthy for 99% of men.
Okay.
Justin can be single-digit body fat because he's genetically predisposed to that.
Yeah.
It's not healthy for me to go and pick up heavy weights. We all do unhealthy things, but we have to be, it's like, okay, well, I'm doing that because of this. I enjoy doing it,
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Justin, he's got the genetics to carry single-digit body fat. I don't. I'm better at like 12%, 13%. And a
I'm
lot of
hovering
people
around 40, I think.
a lot of people don't a lot of people don't understand that, where it's like there's a range for everything, and it's a range based on genetic predisposition and a lot of different things.
Yeah.
But all they see hammered into their head all the time, especially on social media, is you have to look a certain way, you have to do a certain thing, and you have to be perfect no matter what. And it's
Yeah.
like it's not feasible for anybody.
Yeah.
It's
And
not
that's
feasible.
a taste right there of what you're going to get from us. There's no bullshit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if something is bad for you, we're going to tell you it's bad for you. If something's not going to work, we're going to tell you it's not going to work.
Right.
Or if something is going to work and you're kind of like, oh, I don't, well, okay, then you're not going to get a result.
Sure.
Like, so you're not paying us to, like, blow smoke up your ass, right? And when I say pay,
Do you have
because
an add-on for that?
yeah, we do. Because we do have
It's
programs,
expensive.
right? But, like, when you come into our tribe, like, our goal is to get your results. So you need to leave all your bullshit at the door, leave your ego behind, and, like, because if you're not in the space today that you want to be in, like, let's just take our body for example.
Yeah.
If you don't have the body that you've always wanted, it's because the way you've been living hasn't got you there.
Sure.
Right?
Yep.
So when you come in, like, at least have an open mind. And you heard what he just said. He just said some stuff that you don't hear from any other fitness quote unquote expert or influencer, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're going to teach everybody how to fit this delicious beer in your body.
Yeah.
And how to maintain it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're doing something completely different. But again, it's 5+ years in the making. And now to be able to team up with, one of the best breweries in the state, like, this whole team gets it, right? Like, when we started talking about this, we were talking about John, right? And what people say about John, what they
John, the
think
owner
about
of Grand
John.
Canyon,
Like, it's,
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Our owner founder, he's
about to
jacked.
fly over here. And kick our ass.
I think he's parachuting out of a plane over
Yeah.
Deer Valley
Well,
Airport
it's-
right now.
Listen, we're next to an airport. He could arrive any moment.
Right.
But he did. No, he flew down here for our last business meeting of the year. He flew out this morning. He will probably not be back.
Yeah.
I think he comes back for Christmas, but He's been doing some out-of-town Christmas stuff. We love him. I just wanted to just go back real quick. Firstly, no one lifts as much as Adam.
Right.
Just want to make
I was going to
that
say,
clear.
I want to look like him and lift as much as him.
Yeah.
Like why
And
did
Justin's
you
like,
take that out of the
I was
equation?
like, no one does that.
Yeah.
No one does that.
Former strongman, like former, like legit strongman.
And
yeah.
one of the things that, like, I mean, aside from just like, you know, knowing Justin for years and working with him, and one of the things that has attracted me to the earn your booze mindset in the first place, right, is that, like, while I am still not like ideal body weight where I would like to be or where I should be for my height, I've lost considerable amounts of weight.
Yeah.
And on those journeys, what I've learned is that keeping in my mind that I can go have a beer or I can go have something that's not necessarily like the healthiest thing, but not be my regular, keeping that thought in my head allows me to push through like, oh, I'll just order a salad with some chicken for lunch because I know that later I can have a beer or a burrito. And then when I get there, maybe I don't want that.
Yeah.
But I just always kind of keep it in my mind. It is a reward. It is an earning mindset. Like right now what I'm doing is if I want anything unhealthy, I have to stop and make it from scratch.
Yeah.
So last night I wanted some Taco Bell. I went to my kitchen. I made Spanish rice. I chopped up some steak. I seasoned it. I grabbed a burrito. And so instead of going and ordering 3 burritos from Taco Bell, I made a single burrito in my kitchen over the course of like 25 minutes.
It probably tasted way better.
With better ingredients.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
And I ate half of it.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
I was just looking for the trigger in my brain, but because I've always been like, this is like how you earn it. It's a mentality that has spoken to me, right?
Yeah.
And then I always have to try to keep up with John.
Sure.
We're actually going to have to give him the Golden Calf Award next year. It's just those calves.
Oh, man.
Golden calf. Well, so through that journey, then, have you found that like the things that you enjoyed or you thought you enjoyed before the Taco Bell or this or that are just not as enjoyable anymore?
I mean, yes and no, right?
Yeah.
So, as a reward, as something that's earned, still, of course, but to binge out on, the satisfaction has such a diminishing return now, right? As opposed to like before when it was like, oh, I'll just go get the number whatever that will hit the dopamine response I'm looking for, and then I can just veg out. Now that it's not even like guilt or grossness, like which, you know, and shame and ridicule are powerful tools.
Sure.
They are. But
Yeah, absolutely.
It's gone beyond that now where it's just like because I just have to associate with Justin and these guys all the time now with like working together, which is great. Like we used to stay in contact, but now it's all the time. So I'm always, which is why the app is cool and while their coaching is cool because like I'm just constantly thinking about my body and what I've done to it rather than like I hit a dopamine response.
Sure.
I smoke weed.
Yeah.
I can get there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't need a number 8 from Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Which is a Mexican pizza combo. My kid
In case you guys
loves
didn't know.
it. In case you guys didn't know. I'm more of a Crunchwrap guy, but again, like instead of like having like this satiated feeling, I'm not ashamed. I'm just like, okay, well, this feels good, but because I know that like I've put myself behind, it'll make me lethargic later. Maybe I just ate it as a response to being hungry late, which for anyone trying to make any significant change in their life, and if you eat after 9 p.m., literally knock that shit the fuck off. It made such a drastic difference in my sleep, and like I'm someone who likes to like make a change and then try to observe it. Slow, methodical change shows you real results.
Sure. Yeah.
Made myself not eat after 9 p.m. like for 2 weeks. Sleep tremendously better. No more waking up with heartburn. I can just drink water before and after sleep instead of like waking up 3 times in the middle of the night, right?
Yeah.
Things that, habitual stuff like they had mentioned.
It's so good you said that, Alex, too, because like that couple things. First of all, is intention, right? When you look at something with intention, it automatically works better. When you look at something like, okay, I'm intentionally going to make this food in my kitchen instead. It's going to be better. It's going to be better ingredients. It's going to taste better. It's going to give you a better dopaminergic response.
Oh, definitely.
Then especially when
I
you
call
make
that
it
beer
yourself.
name. Dopaminergic.
Yeah.
Whatever you said sounded good.
Dopaminergic
Doppelbock.
Doppelbock. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
Hey. So,
all right.
So, and then the other thing,
Trademark.
the other thing is the sleep, the eating before you sleep. That's like a big myth, actually, and everybody gets it wrong. And I want to definitely hammer that right now because everybody says, "Oh, you can't eat after a certain time because it will make you fat," and it's like, no. it will give you heartburn in the night and it will diminish your sleep.
Yeah, that's what.
And those two things in turn are unhealthy and can cause or be a not a causal factor, but something that pushes you towards weight gain.
Sure.
Like not getting good sleep. Yeah, not
yeah.
getting good sleep is insane. But eating calories after 9 p.m. not going to make you fat.
Yeah.
It's having heartburn because it's undigested. It's not being able to sleep properly because your digestive system is still running.
Yeah.
It's those things. It's not the. So I'm really glad he brought that up.
Yeah, no, that's really good. I mean, I have a goal of trying to stay up until 9 p.m., but eating after 9 is no problem for me.
Yeah, I am having the pass out on the couch at 5 p.m. Kind of deal.
Yeah. Well, and I think another side of it, and something I've been really experiencing a lot lately, is those victories, right? Those victories of like, I'm stressed. I have 2 daughters, so the decibel level that they can get, that pitch, it pierces in my brain, and I'm like, I just want a shot of whiskey.
It's pretty special.
And it, right? It is. It's awesome. Not in the moment, but so dealing with those things, rather than pour myself a glass of whiskey that looks like a glass of apple juice, right? Just fill that thing up. I don't, right? And then it's a little bit harder, and it's a little bit, you got to kind of deal with that situation. When you come out the other side, though, it's like, holy shit, I fucking did that. I didn't need this or I didn't need that. Like I went through the process of being stressed and pissed and wanting to freaking pull my hair out, but you get those little victories, right? It's like ordering a salad instead of the Sonoran dog.
They become their own dopamine responses, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's I think it was Dean Martin. What did he say back in the day? I feel bad for people who don't drink because when they wake up in the morning, it's the best they're going to feel.
Yeah.
You can take that one of 2 different ways. Sure. Right? But there is something to be said. It's like I do see why like a lot of people who are like tremendously bad alcoholics, like once they get sober, like that's their drug, and you're like, oh, it's because like when you're used to drinking and you push through like trigger responses, you're like, oh shit, look at me.
Yeah.
But when you're like deep in it, like that can be just tremendously freeing, like constantly, and like. Now that like I've been in the industry so long, and I'll go through like we just talked about it before we got on, like tolerance breaks and stuff like that, like in pushing through like temptations and stuff like that, like it becomes its own dopamine hit sometimes. I think so. It's not, at least for me, like I'm projecting, of course, but like sometimes I'll get through a day and I'll be like, man, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna, like last night, right? I had like a long day and I'm like, my wife's out with her friend, they're drinking wine. I was like, I might as well just have a glass of whiskey or 2. And I'm like, cool, I'll get home, I'll push through some choring, but then I get done choring. Not really into it. I'll do some other stuff. And I'm like, oh, maybe I'll play God of War for a minute. And then by the time I get to the end, I'm like, I actually didn't have that whiskey I wanted. Anyways, like, because I'm not, and that's another thing about going to bed and drinking, just everyone, real quick.
Sure.
When you stop metabolizing alcohol in your sleep, your body wakes up. And that's why you're waking up in the middle of the night if you drink a lot.
Interesting.
Because that's what happens is your body stops metabolizing alcohol, and it's like, okay. And so like some people can get up, go to the bathroom, and like fall back asleep. I am not one of those people. So if I've like, I also try to like kind of anymore like not drink at home, and that's not because I'm like, oh, I'll get blackout drunk. It's because once I'm like, I'll have a few beers while I'm out working for the day. If I continue that once I get home, no matter what I try to do, I'm going to wake up at midnight, right?
Yeah.
Day drinking has always been the answer, guys.
Right?
That's what I was saying.
As we get older, too, right? As we get older, too, our
it,
bodies don't, it's impacted
It
differently.
makes sense
If
of why the
Vegas
day
has
drinkers
taught
are
me
older.
anything, if Vegas taught me anything,
Right?
is day drinking is the answer. No, actually, something he said, though, is really important. Delayed gratification will do more for somebody's health, mental, physical, everything, than anything else. If you delay the gratification of the instant gratification, like lifestyle that we have now with cell phones and all this crap that is pushing dopamine on us all the time, if you delay the gratification of even just having that glass of whiskey, the response your body gives you is like, oh shit, we can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, boom. And then you get a way more intrinsic dopaminergic response.
There it is again.
Instead of, it's so good,
love
right?
it, man.
I love it. Yeah. It's so good because it's not just a hit.
Yeah.
It's not just the little hit of dopamine. It's a long release form of like, okay, I can do that.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing happens with exercise. The same thing happens when, say if you have like a porn addiction or something like that. When it's an addiction and you delay the gratification of doing it, it changes your life.
Game changer.
Yeah, it's a game changer.
And you can do that. If you drink too much, this is an easy way to kind of back off on that. Like, don't look at Monday through Friday as doing your normal job, as how you earn it. And like, okay, the weekend's here, so I'm going to grab some drinks. Well, look at setting some bigger goals, right? Maybe you have something you want to do really dope that's like 3 or 4 weeks out. Maybe it's a beer festival, for example, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you can make it 2 weeks or 3, maybe even the whole 3 or 4 weeks before you get there, it's going to feel and taste so much better. And then, like everyone here has said, you get past that initial, like, oh, this is normally when I would crack this beer. Like, if you don't do it because you're looking at a bigger goal, right? Alex just cracked another one.
He earned it.
It becomes easier. Yeah, it becomes easier not to drink it, you know? So, like he was saying, delayed gratification, that's like, that's essentially earning it, right? That's next level kind of earning it. So, like, I like to do that a lot, too, because especially with our businesses, like, I'm running 3 businesses right now. And, like, if I just did my Monday through Friday and then just, oh, cool, the weekend's here, and I just let loose and partied and got in the pool and everything.
Weekend's a band-made
shit would go downhill, right?
Man.
So that's why, like, I might not have anything to drink for 3 weeks, and then there might be a Tuesday night where, you know, me, Alex, and Adam get together and we just tear up a bottle of tequila, you know?
We should do that.
We should do that. Today's Friday, though. But, yeah. But, I mean, that's the whole point of, like, if you are drinking too much, don't just look at what I'm saying here as, like, stop drinking or slow down drinking. Just set your goal a little bigger, a little farther down the road, and work towards that. Because when you get there, you're going to like it and enjoy it way better.
Yeah, and, I mean, it's almost too obvious to say, but it goes without saying, I think, so I will. The less you're constantly putting down your gullet, like, your tolerance levels out a little better, right? Like, and just one of the secrets of our industry is that the further we figure out how to make beers taste incredible, those caloric counts aren't getting smaller.
Sure, right?
That's why Better For You is becoming its own category of alcoholic beverage, is because, like, listen, I won't call anyone out by name, but there are 1,000+ calorie pastry stouts out there. Hazy IPAs are 500+. Like, let's just be honest with ourselves about what we're doing.
That makes sense as to why I'm able to drop some.
Put that into your macro calculator and see what happens.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
And again, like, it doesn't have to be quit drinking. Like, what I do a lot of times, and I think a lot of it's just getting older, like, I reach for a West Coast or a Pilsner sometimes. I'll be like, you know what, I really want to enjoy a hazy because I do like them when they're good, but, like, having 4 of them leaves this, like, weird, like, like, almost like when you drink too much Cabernet, like, just like a dry tannin mouth.
Yeah.
And it's not enjoyable. And again, like, the mythos of earning it all, whether that's, you know, because they have the taco shirts, the whiskey shirts, like, making, as someone who's been in this business for a long time and having everything thrown at you, it's cool to be like Kirby at first and just open your mouth and let everything fall in and really experience the rarest beers in the world, some of the most decadent food that's out there, right? But over time, what I've learned is, like, I like my experiences to be smaller in scale but higher in quality.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? Like, stopping and using a French press in the morning to make myself a single cup of coffee. There's something about, like, being analog, putting my hands on it, like Adam said, intention, like, just having to do this rather than, like, half, like, scoop, push, press button, wander off, and, like, it's not even, like, I mean, I don't want to diminish the word, but, like, that is the earn process, right? Like, it's with intention, habitual, and, like, I want the whiskey I drink, instead of drinking a handle of Clan McGregor, I want to drink 1 or 2 fingers of something really nice.
Sure.
Yeah.
And waiting until after or during my steak dinner at home, you know, is all about how you just kind of, like, I don't know, it's like finding a better TV show, a better game, something like, just you want to enjoy it more, and more of it always kind of tends to ruin things, I think, a little bit. But I'll just talk in circles at this point, but that's kind of like
especially with the booze, though. Booze used to be like, it was designed for social. It's a social drink. It's celebratory, and that's been kind of taken out of it, especially in the recent years. Been taken out of it, and it's like the best times is when the best times that you have, your best memories are probably when you were celebrating with your friends,
for sure,
when you were having a couple drinks over a good meal that Alex just made, or whatever, or when, you know, when Justin and I went and Justin shot the bison, it was like we had a couple drinks after that. It was awesome. Then we had some fresh bison meat. Like, things are just better when it's hard to get them. Things are way better when it's more difficult to get them.
Absolutely.
That's why we preach like quality over quantity too. Like especially when it comes to food, you can apply this to alcohol too. You know, like when someone's trying to figure out, okay, how am I actually going to start eating now? What's the real way for me to eat, right? And it's really simple. Like it depends on your goals and a lot of other things, but like quality matters. You know, like that bison he was just talking about, like normally I could eat the biggest steak at the steakhouse, right? Like a 16-ounce ribeye, no problem. That thing's
that's
done.
the biggest one.
Put it
Speaking
down,
my
right?
exact experience here.
But like
I'll take a porterhouse.
but this bison, like
biggest
you could
ounce
have 7 or 8 ounces of this bison, but it is so nutrient rich that you're basically done after 8 ounces because the quality is so much better. And if you treat alcohol in the same manner, like okay, what are you going to do? You're either going to slam like a 12 or a 20 rack of Bud Light, or you might have a couple of these awesome Simple Machine craft beers, or maybe a couple tequilas. You know what I mean? Yeah,
there's the plug.
Definitely the dead hanger. But if you just looked at everything that you do, like quality over quantity, like you'd be surprised how far that'll take you in every area of life.
Well, I found that to be kind of the problem that I've dealt with is in this journey that I've taken. Like I'm going into places that have amazing beers, amazing food, right? So to me, that was kind of a slippery slope because then it's like I'm around this shit all the time. So I'm drinking this, I'm drinking that. They're saying, hey, do you want this new beer? Hell yeah, cool. Right, I'm 2-3 beers into it. And then I go home, making my kids dinner and shit, have a couple whiskeys, right? Yeah. So it's almost, I saw the irony in it was like that thing that I've been searching for my whole life, this path. All right, found the path. And then behind me is like, you're an alcoholic now. Fuck, right?
Those monkeys, they're terrible.
Yeah, right.
Hanging on your back all the time.
But that's I think that's kind of a hard thing for people in our industry is I mean, Marshall's here all day in front of around great beers, and he's tasting these beers, and then someone comes in and they're like, hey man, want to have a beer with me?
Yeah, you don't even think about it. It's when people first come to this industry, I'm always like, listen, I'm going to give you some advice, and I'm not going to give you sales advice. I'm not going to give you the only advice I'm going to give you is there's two problems with our industry, and it is the caloric intake and that monkey that's going to grip your back. And you need to be aware of both of those things, because if you're not, you will slip, and one of them will take over. Yeah, maybe
if
both.
Not both. Yeah,
maybe both if you're fucking unlucky.
Right.
And I've decade in this industry, I've seen it happen, and to your point, like it's about stopping and making a considerable change in your life without like cutting everything out, right? Yeah. Again, that's the whole thing that we're kind of discussing here, right? Is you can make these changes that allow you to exist in what a wonderful, wild, and fun industry, of any sort, but also like still enjoy it, but without like letting it kind of overtake you a little bit.
Here's the thing: if you enjoy something, if you enjoy the industry, right, you want to enjoy it for a long time. Yeah. So why go like fast and hard and for a couple years when you could legitimately enjoy an industry like this for decades and decades and decades? And it's like that's the point. That's the whole point.
I mean, that's why we exist, right? Like, and people say, well, what the hell is Earn Your Booze? Like that's the whole point. Like, I know how fun this industry is. I was a brewer. I left my engineering job to get into brewing at Lucky Luke Brewery just north of LA back in the day. Been home brewing for many years. Yeah. And done collaborations with Grand Canyon, obviously, and Goldwater, and all sorts of different breweries. So I love this industry, and part of this business has got me into countless parties, VIP style. So I get it. Like there's no shortage of free drinks and free food and late night parties and all this kind of stuff. But if you don't have like a real intentional plan on what you're doing, like it's really easy to let it get away from you. For sure. Especially if you're in the industry, right? Because like me, as like kind of like I feel like I'm in it now, but like when I first came in, I was a bit of an outsider doing something different. So I got some nice hookups to come in and meet people and stuff. But I know everybody in it now. So like if you live in the industry, I know firsthand how difficult it can be to either keep the weight off or just keep your mind right or not, overconsume and all that. So that's at the core of like why we exist. Like we don't tell you guys to stop drinking. Yeah, you're not in your white shirt and your ties on a bicycle coming in saying, we have a beer right now at 10 a.m. and like you know what I mean? Like so like that's our whole mission here is to basically help the industry get healthier so they can enjoy more of it. Absolutely. And not like and like Adam said, not just fucking hit it hard and then just get wildly out of shape, have a heart attack, or just like lose your family over it and stuff. Like we want you guys to enjoy it longer, and we can show you how to do it. Yeah,
because the longer somebody is in an industry, the better they can make whatever it is they're doing in that industry.
Yeah.
So the better you're going to be able to make beer, the better the whiskey's going to get, the better the,
Yeah, we don't want people to burn out. We want you guys to stay.
Yeah,
The
keep
longer you do something, the better you get at it.
Yeah.
And to Adam's exact point, right? Like longevity. I would not still be in this business if John wouldn't have challenged me to lose weight when I was, 400 something pounds. And he had to be like, hey, buddy, let's make a bet.
Yeah.
But like doing that, getting through it, it allowed me to, because I was, I knew I was flirting with gout. I knew it. I knew I was flirting with diabetes. And I knew it, but I wasn't changing anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was just kind of like in this like slow acceptance mode. And then when like I started to like slowly get healthier and then rapidly get healthier, and I was like, oh, okay. And then one of the things, because he had me work with a nutritionist at the time, they're like, do you have any hang-ups? And I was like, I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but I have no intention of quitting drinking.
Yeah.
And luckily I had someone that's minded like Justin and Adam here, right? And she was like, cool, I can work around that.
Yeah.
And instead of telling me that I was wrong for my mindset, and again, like, you could be like, but again, if you think that I have a problem, send me to a therapist, not like give me some rigid structure. And what she did was she's like, okay, well, you don't have to quit drinking, but this is the limitations I'd like to give you.
Yeah.
And outlined some stuff for me. And then, even like Justin was saying, the intention, right? Like, even my holiday party, I'm like, okay, sometimes just saying it out loud makes all the difference in the world. So, like, I'm getting ready and I'm like, 2 beers. My wife's like, what? I was like, I'm going to have 2 beers tonight. That's what I'm going to do. And then I did. I had 2 beers. And then I would, like, go back to, because I was in the cabin at the holiday party, I'd crack open an athletic, I'd pour it in my glass, I'd come back to the party, and I'd do that a couple times, and I'd get another regular beer, and just kind of went through the night like that. But
and it didn't impact your night probably, right? Like as far as like what you would think.
It kept me so much more alert, and on point, and I also didn't wake up feeling as terrible as Jacqueline did.
There's really, there's really something to be said here about what he said, saying it out loud, right?
Yeah.
Because most people don't want to lie to themselves. They don't want to. A lot of people do, but they don't want to. When you say it out loud, when you say it out loud, especially, this is something I do with clients in the past and current clients too. Look in the mirror, have them look in the mirror, and say the things that they don't like about themselves. And a lot of people are like, oh, that's like not a good thing to say. You should be telling them all these positive affirmations all the time. And it's like, a positive affirmation isn't going to make you change, though.
Yeah.
Also, you're thinking it all day.
So
you need to say it out loud.
Go and look at yourself in the mirror and say, and just like Alex said, if you want 2 beers that night, go and look in the mirror and say 2 beers.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to lie to me. I might lie to you guys and be like, hey, I'm going to have 2 beers tonight. And then,
or if my wife says, hey, you should just have 2 beers.
Right.
Tonight. Well, I want fucking 4.
Yeah, well, now I want 6. Yeah.
I'm going to show you what getting drunk looks like.
Yeah.
All right, 2 beers and 5
nope,
whiskeys.
we're fighting tonight. Yeah, no, yeah. So it's important though, and there's something to say to that self-respect of saying it to yourself and say, hey, I'm only gonna have 2 beers, or hey, I'm gonna work out today. Whatever it is, say it to yourself first. And that's one of the greatest things about what we've built inside of our new app is I can actually develop those habits for you and prescribe those habits to you. So it's like every day you see it, it's like, oh, only, and I could do whatever you want. Like if you want a habit of 2 beers tonight, like we can do that. Yeah. So it's like, boom, reminder. Oh yeah, 2 beers tonight. And then you say it out loud, 2 beers tonight.
Yeah. That should be the name of a beer.
2 beers tonight.
2 beers.
And it's a 32-ounce can.
Yeah.
You get 2 of them.
I'm only going to have 2 beers tonight. That's the only beer I
2
drank.
jugs.
Yeah.
Crowlers only, limit of 3.
I used to do that with the Asahi Super Dry in Japan. Like, I'm only having 2 tonight. It's like basically a gallon of beer.
Yeah.
Japan's drinking culture is wild.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, so the app, like, so let's kind of get into
water.
like, all right. So my buddy says, hey man, you should check out these dudes. Justin and Adam are doing this really cool thing with Earn It All. You should go talk to them, right? I call and say, hey man, I'm me a year ago, right? I'm 305 pounds. I'm no energy. What does that process look like for me to talk with you guys and to work with Earn It All?
Yeah, so first off, like, we're going to ask you what your goals are, right?
Okay.
We're not just going to throw some craziness at you and just, hope it works.
Here's
right?
a PDF. This is what you need to do. Like,
exactly. So we have assembled really like the Avengers team of fitness and nutrition experts on this thing. So we will talk to you about your goals, and we'll figure out, like, if you say you want to keep drinking, like Alex said, cool. We're going to work with that. We'll figure it out. But we're doing something really, really easy that everybody can, and we'd love to have you do with us. Starting January 2nd, we have a 12-week program called Total Recreation. And what does that mean? Well, most people have a New Year's resolution. forget that, right?
Yeah.
I want you guys to say that, you know what, 2023, I'm finally going to get all my shit together, like everything.
Yeah.
I'm going to use my body to get myself in shape. And during that process, I'm going to build a stronger mind. And then I'm going to use my body and my mind to get the life that I want.
Yeah.
So throughout that 12 weeks, we're going to teach you everything, all of your fitness programming for 12 weeks, all of your nutrition strategy and your macros that you need. Like Adam was saying, all the habits. Habits are probably the most important thing.
Sure.
We're gonna take a look at your current habits, erase the bad ones, put new ones in, help you build those things. And it's not like a 75 hard type thing. It's not like you're just getting smashed in the face. Like we understand people coming in need to be, led a little bit, need to be like shown the way, right? And so it's all intentionally built for 12 weeks. And at the end of that, you'll be able to say that you did totally recreate how you live your life.
Yeah.
And from there, we have monthly programs where you can stick with us. We have on your phone, like you were saying, we put all this in an app. It's not like a PDF and you just go do your own thing.
Yeah.
Like we have filmed hundreds of workout movements of me and Adam doing and demonstrating them all.
Nice.
So if we tell you to do a certain kind of movement and you're like, the hell is that?
Yeah.
Cool. Click the button. It's right there on your phone or like on your Apple Watch. You can see how to do it. You can track it. And I've even loved doing you can track all your meals. You can scan with a barcode, just like MyFitPal. Have you ever heard
shit.
of that?
Yeah.
You pick up
Yeah.
a freaking protein bar, scan it, and cool. We know exactly
And
how
that
much
for
you
lunch.
eat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
nice.
So it's not just like a fitness thing or whatever. Like this is no shit. Like if you're finally like, doesn't matter if you're in this industry, if you're in insurance or whatever you do. If you're like, I need to recreate myself because shit is not going the way I need it to go.
Yeah.
We will help you do that with this super easy to follow program. You don't have to think.
Yeah.
All of the programming and everything has been done for you. Don't even think. Just follow along, do
Yeah.
the thing, and you're going to get the results.
Yeah,
I
so
dig
I
that.
taught at a college in California, and I taught personal trainers nutrition and physiology, and we basically taught them everything that we put into this app is what I taught trainers.
Okay.
And it's all of the things that you're going to get with a trainer one-on-one. It is now scalable. We have now made it scalable. I have now made, working with somebody one-on-one, because the other cool thing about this is that at any time during your day, if you're eating or if you're working out or whatever, you get on there and you click on the coach tab and you can message me
DM
and I will
me, baby.
answer.
Don't want to open
24.
that can
No,
of
I
worms
don't.
with me, man.
Hey, no. Here's the thing too. I've
Does
said
this look
this to
discolored to you?
Yeah, no. I actually I'm working with a guy. I'm working with a guy right now, and he's in the hires of 400 pounds. Like 479, I think he was when he started. It's been 4 days. He's down 12 pounds. And he messages me all the time. And he was like, wow, like it's really cool that you answer every time that I do that. And I do that with everybody.
Yeah.
I do that with I don't care what time it is. If I see it and you message me, I see it, I'm going to answer you back. And that is not something that is common in fitness.
Sure.
It's, here's my Calendly link, and you can call me in 3 weeks.
Or show up and train with me for 35 minutes and then leave,
Yeah.
and I'll see you next week. Like this is
Yeah.
24 access to professionals, and it's for individuals and for teams. So like Grand Canyon Brewery is doing it as a team. So they are all coming on as a team. They're running the whole Total Recreation with us, and they have their own internal incentives and programs and all kind of stuff going on. But their brewery is like, you know what? We want to really step it up with our sales team, with our production team, with everything. So we're going to have everyone put their health a little bit more up at the top of the priority list. So they're doing it as a team. So this is for anybody out there, whether an individual or you're a business or a corporation, anything, we can basically handle it. We have the coaching, the team, everything that we need to basically take care of you no matter where you're at.
I was going to say, so this is not tied to geographical, like you don't have to be local or anything. Like you could
Literally anywhere.
never meet this person and still guide them through all of this stuff. And,
Correct.
Yeah. We also during the program, we threw in our coaching calls too for everybody. So we do 2 coaching calls every week. One of them is usually health-based, and the other is based on one of our other core 4: health, wealth, victory, respect. Victory being mindset, and respect being family, relationships, stuff like that.
Nice.
Because
I like
having
that.
a great body is just one piece of the puzzle.
Right.
If your health is in order, if your wealth is in order, you have your shit together. Basically, your mindset is good, and you have a good family and good relationships, a good group of men around you. Like your life's probably gonna kick ass.
Absolutely.
Imagine
Yeah.
how great it would be to have all of that squared away.
Yeah.
Your body, your money, your mindset, relationships, like everything. If all of that stuff, if you
Gives
could
you
truly
community,
say,
too.
this is kicking ass, like, dude, that's it. You can't lose.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what we want to get for you. And we're putting your health first, because oftentimes, especially in this industry, like we've been discussing, health does need to be a bigger priority.
For sure.
So we're
Yeah.
putting that first, and everything else comes along with it.
Yeah, Alex just said too, there's a community aspect to this as well. not only are you working with me or one of our coaches one-on-one, you're also inside a community. So every Total Recreation, every month we start a new one. Every month you're in a Total Recreation group with other people doing the same thing you are.
Yeah.
Going through the same journey.
Sharing those struggles.
Sharing the struggle,
Yeah.
all that stuff. You're in that group. And then when you move forward from Total Recreation, you come onto our monthly membership, you come onto our monthly programming, you are now put into a group with people who are similar to you, doing similar things, and everybody can hold each other accountable, and it's just, it's that is the way you get permanent result.
Yeah.
And of course, we have badass incentives like sponsored drinks, extra coaching sessions, trips, all sorts of craziness built into this because it started as Earn Your Booze. So even though the app is called Earn It All, it obviously started as Earn Your Booze. So with all the connections we made over the year, if you like this kind of Earn Your Booze or you like the beer industry, like cool, you're going to get access to do some really cool stuff like potentially a brew day up in Flagstaff with machine guns afterwards, you know, with all of us. Like,
Sounds
we're
like
not
I'm
saying
around the
shit
Grand
like
Canyon
that.
boys.
Yeah, so whoever, especially this first one, you know, this first of the year, the first of the year one, whoever has the best transformation, Total Recreation, whoever has recreated themselves and stepped to that next level and really shown us during this whole process that I'm ready to totally recreate myself, they're going to get some pretty badass stuff.
Nice.
So,
Hell yeah. I dig it, man. I mean, it just all around, I'm choking on this Brewer's Crack. Juicy Pilsner.
Hey, now.
This is the new Juicy Pilsner from
Making someone's day.
Simple Machine.
it's really tasty, actually.
Shout out to Simple Machine for always
Yes, Marshall,
providing a
thank you
location.
for,
Did you see Marshall?
I texted him. He's not here.
He ain't here yet. So I had the Brewer's Crack. This is Juicy Pilsner. You had our Jean-Claude bandana. That thing was fantastic.
Yeah, I was looking
right?
for a Juicy Pilsner, and I can normally spot Marshall's butt crack from a mile away, but it must be in the walk-in rather than the regular cooler.
It's an awesome beer, and this brewery is beautiful too.
Right?
They did
Yeah,
a really nice
yeah.
job in here.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the app is available now. Like today is December 16th. This will be out a little bit later,
Yeah.
maybe in a week or two. The app is available.
So first and foremost, go to earnitallacademy.com.
Okay.
That's where you can see if you want to get on like a 12-week program, if you want to get a monthly, if you want to work one-on-one with Adam. There's a lot of different options there. So go in there, see what we have to offer, shoot us a message if you have questions, and then that will direct you to get the app and everything that you need to get squared away.
Awesome. And then Dead Hanger, Grand Canyon, made a juicy 6.7 pale ale.
6.8.
What's that? So people that's an IPA. Oh, it's pale ale.
Well, so, I mean, one could argue there's not much of a difference, depending upon where you're at. I think that before the age of hazies, there was a little more delineation from pale ale to IPA in, like, approach of, like, bitterness and kind of malt. But with hazies, it tends to just be more of, like, so juicy IPAs, I'm going to try to keep this as quick as fucking possible. Juicy IPAs are obviously a focus on like the juiciness of a hop versus the bitterness, and when you do that later in the boil, more to the approach of an IPA. But you know, working with the boys over at 12 West and like Ethereal, which is a killer beer that they make, and a few other things. Like we thought if we were going to do something hazy, because this is really our first foray into hazy, right? Like a quick timeline just so I can get it on the record. Yes, I was never going to make hazies. Yes, I made an exception for Flagstaff. Yes, I made one-time exception for Justin. And yes, now we're launching one into Safeway. I understand. Thank you.
Regardless of all that.
Anyways.
Comment below.
Anyways. So when we were discussing, like, one of the big things was, like, we want something that's worth earning, right? We want something that, you know, no one works to earn an MGD 64, and if you do, Susan, get off. But like we wanted something that you could earn, and hazy IPA just unfortunately is not something I'm a huge proponent of, just because it's one of those styles like sours that started off awesome and has now become a little diluted. But hazy pale ale is very approachable. It's super juicy and tropical. It's got lots of stone fruit. Finishes strong with the citrus grapefruit. It's worth earning. It's not as overbearing, and not overbearing, but it's not as potent or strong or even calorically intense as a hazy IPA. It's just something in the middle, right? And, and again, one of the things we talked a lot about here was being introduced to things you're not kind of used to engaging in, right?
Yeah.
So if craft beer is a little outside of your realm, if hazies are a little bit outside of your realm, a nice, chill, hazy pale's a nice way to get into it, but it's also a great beer to earn, right?
Yeah.
And so that's the point. So for chains, it'll be in Safeway Albertsons all over the city. We'll have it, and you can find it in your favorite tap room. If they can deliver Coors Light or Corona, they can deliver it at Hangar Hazy, right?
Nice.
And
so you can request it.
We're working with Justin's team, Adam, Jenna. We're setting up a launch week like you do with any sort of beer. We're going to do a big night at the Pemberton. I just confirmed that last night.
Nice.
And then we'll probably do another one at the Churchill. And then we'll probably do about 8 more statewide just launches. We'll bring out the Dead Hang. So we'll do like every 30 minutes who's got the best time. We'll do some prizes. We'll have some fun. You can drink, hang. See, again, it's about like being able to have a beer while doing some sort of workout. And we didn't talk about it a lot on this podcast, but Justin brings it up a lot, and so I'm going to get some of this wrong. But it's a good indication of health because of the way, like, you have to hang and you lose blood loss. I couldn't do a pull-up to save my damn life, and I can hang for a while, so I'm not sure what the science is on it.
Well, there's a direct correlation between grip strength and how long you're going to live.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What do you mean by
direct correlation between direct correlation between grip. So there's two indicators of longevity that are real big. It's grip and leg strength.
Okay.
And leg strength is more obvious because it's like, oh, if I fall, things like that.
Sure.
But you also need return circulation.
Sure, exactly. Yeah. So grip strength is another one that's not really, we don't really understand why that is a big indicator of longevity, but it probably has something to do with, well, if you have good grip strength, it probably means that you exercise your whole life, and there's these little other indicators that come behind it. So, but it is directly correlated with longevity.
Well, I would think it would correlate with your weight itself, right? Like your hand should be able to carry the amount of weight that you're supposed to be.
Unless you're carrying block for a living, like you're not going to develop grip strength without trying. And if you carry block for a living, you're probably in good shape.
Right. You're probably going to.
I remember my cousin one summer carried block, like when we were like 16, and he came to school and he's just like. I was like, "What happened to you, Tom?" And he's like, "I carried block over the summer." And I'm like,
which is strange because everybody knows, right? This is an interesting thing. Everybody knows that the corn-fed guy, right, just throws hay all day, and he's big and strong. But then they go to the gym and they do 100 sets of bench press, and they do all this nonsense stuff that they don't need to do. So why is that?
Eat meat,
so
potatoes, throw hay.
Eat meat,
carry stuff.
Eat meat, carry stuff, throw things.
Bacon, eggs.
Yeah,
right?
So not American bacon though. American bacon's garbage because we feed the pigs trash. So
we need to get you on for multiple episodes.
Absolutely.
I have some bison bacon at home.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So again, like what Justin said, quality over quantity.
Yeah.
So it's funny. I'll just say this: there's something called the European 20. And when you go to Europe for a month, you'll lose 20 pounds, especially to any of the northern European countries, Finland, Norway, things like that. You could eat the same amount of food and the same things in Europe and lose 20 pounds.
Because of what all they pump
preservatives,
into the
additives, stuff they pump into the animal, all that stuff. You come back to America, you immediately gain 20 pounds back.
Yeah, for instance, my wife, Coffee Mate is not legal in most developed countries. Listening, Jacqueline?
Really?
I've been trying to get my wife off it for years. Yeah.
The powder?
No. Just like the stuff you go buy at the store. It's like French vanilla creamer. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, they have the powdered version, like a powdered creamer.
But I'm just talking about the creamer in the dairy cooler.
Yeah.
Like, you can't buy that in Europe. Like, they don't sell that.
Yeah, let me give you guys the rub on the creamer real quick. Ooh. So the creamer is mostly linoleic acid seed oil.
That's what it is. Yeah.
And what happens is that linoleic acid, we'll have another podcast on this because this gets crazy. What happens is that linoleic acid gets into the fat cells, into the mitochondria of your fat cell. And if we remember 8th grade science class, mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. I don't remember at all. Yeah. Mitochondria, powerhouse of the cell, right? So fat cells are cells.
Yeah.
So when linoleic acid gets, like when your mitochondria get washed with linoleic acid, they deregulate. So they can't operate as well. So essentially it takes 4 times as much exercise to burn off a fat cell that has been, inundated with linoleic acid that it does without. So if you just cut seed oil out of your diet, you'll lose 20 pounds.
And so, I mean, obviously look at the back, look at the ingredients. It's going to tell you,
that's the first step. And then the second step is getting rid of stuff in packages altogether because the FDA is a pay-to-play program, so they don't have to put certain things on the label. I was just talking about this on my story the other day.
The FDA started as Anakin Skywalker and ended the story as Darth Vader.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, the organic sticker is a pay-to-play. You could just pay for it.
FDA is pay-to-play. That's what's they lost government funding specifically like 40 years ago or something. It's been terrible since then.
Yeah. But here's the big one is cornstarch, right? Cornstarch, they put in everything as a thickening agent, and if it's not in the food, and this goes for any type of additive, if it's not in the food as a food item, if they put it in the food as something that is functional, like thickening agent or preservative, they don't have to put it on the label. So for instance, Campbell's fucking clam chowder says it has 115 calories per serving. It really has 215 because it has cornstarch in it, and cornstarch is 100 grams or 100 calories per ounce.
And they don't list that on there.
They don't have to list it.
Because it's not as an ingredient to make the product,
So
the food.
Right.
As someone who does labels for a living, the way they determine it is by weight. So it's parts per million by weight. So, like, trying to work on a hot sauce company, I barely have to list xanthan gum, which is a natural binder for hot sauce. And again, what you want to do is make it in a more organic manner, but I'm trying to get on grocery store shelves here. But I barely even have to list it. Like, it's the last ingredient I have to list because it actually has a measurable weight. Anything, if I'm put in that weighs less than that, I actually wouldn't have to list, to Adam's point. And what these guys do to get away with it is I'm making shit in a 5-gallon carboy to ferment hot sauce. These motherfuckers are making industrial scale, so parts per million to them could be bags of cornstarch into the mix.
Yeah.
And so there's a little bit of dishonesty and kind of...
No. So the label on something... And this
Stop!
Is
I did not know this was going to go this direction.
Yeah, to my point about the European 20... The label on stuff in Europe, especially the northern countries, Finland, Norway, it has to say everything that's in there. They are, by government mandate, you have to put everything that's in that thing. And then
if you put a sprinkle, one grain
whatever
of
it is,
salt,
it has to say everything that they use to make this.
Yeah.
And including the additives and preservatives. And then a lot of that stuff is illegal over there, too.
Yeah.
Like most of the stuff we use in our
Heinz
food
ketchup,
over here,
American Heinz ketchup.
most of our food over here is illegal in all other countries.
I love Heinz ketchup. There's no other ketchup.
Well, in Europe, you can't buy American Heinz ketchup.
Really?
Right.
They have their own version of Heinz ketchup, or
Well,
they just
they have American sections in grocery stores,
Yeah.
but because Heinz ketchup doesn't meet the legal definition of ketchup in Europe, it's a different
Sugar
regulatory
sauce.
system.
Yeah.
And like Ireland just had some blowout thing where they're like, "Hey, Subway, this isn't legally bread."
Oh,
Like,
really?
And Ireland made them like change their bread recipe. But the thing, if you're a corporation that's at scale, you change it in Ireland.
Yeah.
You don't change it everywhere.
Right.
You just change it in Ireland.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And
We gotcha.
so yeah, American bread might still not be bread according to like the EU. And
Right.
again, you can put your opinions wherever you want, but like they said, the FDA's pay to play. There's a longer story there, but basically it fell out of government funding, and they changed it to where like the majority of funding for the FDA comes from approved drugs that get taxed. So it's in their interest to approve things, to tax them, to get funded.
I didn't want to go down this road.
But I'll just leave it right there.
Leave it to Alex. Like, yeah.
And this is the kind of stuff that we're happy to teach everybody.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because like all the information's out there, like I said, but like you don't know it.
Yeah.
And you don't know what to believe and all that. So we basically are gonna help you guys figure out all of this kind of stuff.
This is great.
Some of it might apply, some might not, but at least you'll know that you're not getting any bullshit from us.
Well, like Alex, when he was going to, it was a trainer or somebody that you went to, and you're like, I'm not stopping drinking. I just want to tell you guys right now, I'm not fucking cutting out Heinz ketchup.
Right.
Not doing Hunts. I'm not doing.
No,
anytime
Heinz-
somebody
it's
says
Heinz or
house-made
nothing.
ketchup,
I'm
I'm
still
like,
gonna eat
no ketchup,
Subway.
please.
No, you have to Heinz.
Dude,
Pittsburgh
it's
Heinz, that's it.
incredible. Yeah.
It's a
Now,
whole separate
are you guys?
conversation.
You had mentioned something.
I'll change your mind. Don't worry.
That's going to be a tough one. You can convince me of all other things, but no. Yeah. Podcast? Are you guys in the process of starting up a podcast? I knew you had talked about that.
We are bringing back the Earn Your Booze podcast
Nice,
and launching
nice.
the Earn It All podcast.
So two. You're
Yes.
going to do two of them. Okay.
Yeah, so like Earn Your Booze is basically for everybody listening here, right? Like we get it. We live this lifestyle. We like to earn and enjoy some great booze and some great drinks in our
Yep.
life. Earn It All is like more on our business side where we're talking like just really kind of more hardcore, but focusing more on like money, cash flow, mindset, all that kind of stuff. And they definitely play with each other.
Yeah.
But we're doing two just because of all the different
Zing.
things we have going on. it's easier for us to be like, all right, cool. We can dive deep into hop isomerization on this one. That wouldn't make any sense on the Earn It All podcast.
Sure. Yeah, I like that.
Or on the Earn It All podcast, we can have an FTX professional, or a Forex trader, not FTX.
Yeah, we don't want an FTX professional.
We can dive into all
We canceled that guy, yeah.
Yeah, I heard he's waiting to be extradited.
Yeah. So we're going to get him on before he Epstein's himself. Yeah. But anyways, yes, both of those are coming back. And we're going to be just blasting this stuff everywhere. This is at the core of why Earn Your Booze was founded.
Yeah.
So some people that don't like to drink, cool, no big deal. Cool,
Yeah,
earn it all.
that's fine too.
Jump
Yeah.
over there. But if you do, we really want you to take your health seriously. Make sure you have the right mindset and the right, everything put together so you can enjoy this for a long time.
Yeah. I dig it, man. I dig it. Well, we got to wrap up. I got kids probably waiting at the bus stop. Where the hell's Dad? No, I got a little bit of time. So, Grand Canyon, what's new with you guys? What's the latest on Grand Canyon?
So I'll just keep it brief, and while we're here, right? Well, we're doing a lot of things next year. January 2nd, I believe, is when their module starts for what we were discussing.
Total recreation.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we're going to be doing some fun stuff with that as well. And right now on the social medias, you can check out our holiday drink stuff. But most importantly, like I said, draft, package, Earn Your Booze, Grand Canyon, Dead Hanger, Hazy. It's going to be as much across the state as we can get it. And again, there should be zero access issues. If you have what I always tell people, they're like, where can I get it? My answer is always this. I prefer that you have a local bottle shop already and that you just ask them to order it.
Nice.
Because that gives them money in their pocket. That keeps it local. That keeps all of our money here. But otherwise, if you don't, on our website, we have a beer finder. You put in your zip code. It'll show you where we've delivered in the last 60 days. That probably won't be fully online until about January 20th because of just the system in which it's derived in, which I have nothing to do with. I just pay for. So probably around the end of January, definitely right as we get kicked off for Beer Week, right? So third, fourth week of January is when we're going to be doing the promotions. Dry January tends to be a thing a lot of people pretend they're going to do. Sure. And then so February, we're going to get at it big. Strong Beer Fest, Arizona Beer Week, Earn Your Booze, Grand Canyon. Just, we'll have calendars up on the websites. But yeah, so my deadline to get everything planned is Christmas, or before Christmas, before we break. So before New Year's, you should be able to go onto either website, find a list of events and launches. Like Justin said, go to earnitall.com to figure out what you want. What I'd say about a consumer is that the app is intuitive. I liked it. I downloaded it. And then just as someone like Adam was talking earlier about how he responds when you're on, from a consumer's perspective, what that does is like I'm engaged in the process. And instead of having like timed responses or timed periods in which you can communicate, like I may not be in a mindset to understand, what a proper butterfly press looks like, which is going to tremendously help my goals. If it's 5 hours later or I got a response while I was asleep, right? So I think that what they're doing with the app and their approach to things is very much in line with what we do. Grand Canyon, we make food we want to eat, we make beers we want to drink, we make clothes we want to wear, and then we go out in our backyard and we fucking play hard to try and stay in shape. Although John has like a full gym too.
Pull-ups on the plane as he's flying.
John is fucking
autopilot.
Yeah.
We'll get some weird Photoshop version of him. And
This is the app.
No, yeah, but it is this shared ethos. We're both veteran-owned companies. It's just this almost lightning in a jar, right? And so I'm just happy to be a part of it and to kind of keep pushing it forward and preaching the gospel. So
love it.
It's a beer worth earning, and these are guys worth checking out. So
love it, guys.
Right.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah.
Cheers, Eric.
Cheers, guys.
buddy.
I ran out of beer already. But
I know Justin's doing a good job, man. He's doing a good job. Yeah, is your fifth one?
Yeah, you guys weren't watching.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
All right, appreciate it.